This video is sponsored by your daily commute frustrations. Barhaven's transit is kind of like that friend who always says they're almost ready, but you're still waiting. In a world where Toronto, Vancouver, and New York are losing their minds over housing, we're talking transit in a suburb that's got buses, BRT, dreams of light rail, and still no actual light rail. Let's unpack this glorious mess. Bus rapid transit, or BRT for short, are dedicated lanes that are only sometimes dedicated in Barhaven. And in Ottawa's BRT system, there are impressive concrete stations that look like mini credit unions. Barhaven is served by three main BRT lines, 75, 74, and 99, and roughly a dozen local express routes. Sounds great, until you realize that the express buses to downtown still take 30 to 37 minutes, with transfers plus walks. So, yes, sometimes walking backwards to work would be faster. And late night transit? Forget it. Some residents describe it as a 1.5-hour marathon back to Barhaven after dark, or just drive. The joys of suburbia. Meanwhile, in Barhaven, cars rule. Barhaven was built to be driven, not walked. Park and ride lots at Stranraer and Fallowfield confirm it. And with bus routes looping everywhere, a single trip takes forever if you're not living on a transitway corridor. These reasons make it very obvious why most suburbanites in Barhaven still choose to drive as their primary form of transportation. Because who doesn't love sitting in traffic jams, listening to your own podcast on repeat? And LRT Sunday, maybe? In Barhaven, it's everyone's favorite buzzword, LRT. What it is? Trains, but light. And where it goes? Currently, nowhere near Barhaven. And planned expansions? Someday. Maybe in your lifetime? But the shocking truth is, Barhaven actually had LRT plans way back in 2006, but City Council killed it off, completely. Now, Stage 3 envisions a 10-kilometer extension with 7 stations to Barhaven, but it'll cost a whopping $3 billion, or possibly up to $6.5 billion, and won't arrive until after 2031. That's about $300 to $650 million per kilometer. Even Seattle's expensive LRTs, subways basically, averages only $111 million per kilometer. Compared to that, Barhaven's plan is ambitious to say the least. But what about the cheaper solution to transit, the BRT? Bus rapid transit across Barhaven makes sense on paper. About $15 million per kilometer to build, compared to $300 million plus for LRT. It's also flexible. You don't need elevated surfaces or structures or millions of dollars in tunneling, but it still means buses. Rubber meets road traffic, rubber gets stuck, and suddenly you're back in a car jam. The real problem with Barhaven isn't just in its design of its transit system, but also a density mismatch. With over 100,000 people, Barhaven is huge, but doesn't have near enough density near transit stops to make frequency worth it. Plus, zoning for cars, such as park and rides that are big, sidewalks that often disappear, and everyone expects a bunch of parking spots in front of all the big box stores. And finally, the OC Transport's financial woes, with a projected $40 million budget deficit and $3.7 billion revenue shortfall over 25 years. And that's before spending billions more on more rail. But what about the tiny wins? There are some, I guess. For example, the 2023 bus route overhaul, which cuts service hours but saves $10 million annually, which aims for fewer transfers and more direct routes. Paired with another service cut this year in 2025 with its new Ways to Bus program. Also, more transitway upgrades like dedicated lanes on Woodruff and Stranraer help, but only if people actually live there instead of just parking there. Also, heated shelters, real time boards at Beatrice and Marketplace keep things marginally less depressing? Well, now we know the options, BRT and light rail. And those are the two choices that city planners and councilors have. Either splash $3 to $6 billion on LRT, but will it even bring enough rise to justify it? Probably not in the next few decades. Or stick with BRT, cheaper, faster to implement, but still basically just buses. It's like choosing between a luxury cruise and a reliable bus. One's fancy, and the other one actually gets there on time. Or at least it's supposed to. Overall, Barhaven's transit is what it is. A suburban bus network pretending to be rapid transit. LRT would be sweet, but it'll be late. Like decades late. BRT is practical, but still a bus. For now, odds are you're stuck praying your 74 bus shows up on time and hoping the parking ride isn't full. Think transit in the burbs deserves better than maybe someday? Subscribe and check out our next Great Suburbs video, where green spaces try to save the day. Thank you for watching Urbanscape Owen.